Hello again, everyone. Deflex here, Firm but Fair Gaming. Want to bring a new video. There's been lots of news on season 3 coming out, and a whole lot of different changes, which are crazy changes I never thought I'd see happen. I'm going to kick it off with the two biggest announcements I think they are. All players have access to Shadow Meld in season 3, so you don't actually have to worry about being the one race that the majority are, just so they can do some crazy skips. It's going to be a new potion. You don't have to be Nighfae. You'll be able to buy it. Yeah, it'll be Umbral Essentia. Sure, we'll go with that. But you will be able to use it. It will be the exact same thing as the Shadow Meld skip. So you'll be able to use that on your current character, class, and race, which is amazing news. The other big news coming out, unheard of. Mythic Plus levers finally penalized with new deserter system. Wow. Very, very interesting. So there is some things. In order to leave a Mythic Plus key without a penalty, players must initiate a vote. No problem. It's very easy to initiate a vote. If a player leaves without a successful vote too frequently, they will be marked as someone who leaves often in Group Finder. Marked players can lose the mark by successfully completing dungeons and using the voting system properly. So I don't know what the mark's going to look like, but eventually they'll just have something by their name, and you'll see that they leave keys often, and will hopefully avoid the people who jump into a key, do two crazy pulls, die once or die twice or die 3 times, and then boom, gone. Whereas, there's actually a lot of times where, a few deaths, you can easily time keys anyway. There is some questions here, and that is, if someone leaves the group before the vote, can the rest of the players leave immediately, or remaining players need to vote? But then we're going to work out the details, like do disconnect count, or is it going to be an Alt F4 game at this point? So that's going to be very interesting if disconnects. I don't know how they're going to work that. Whether people just start Alt F4ing instead of doing that and then they're not penalized. I don't know. Very interesting on that question. And what are the thresholds for marked levers? I don't know how many levers or dungeons it's going to take for someone to get marked with this. I don't know if it's 2, 5, 10, whatever it is, but it's an interesting concept. I like where they're going. Other news on season 3, as there's a lot that has been pounded out in the last couple days. We have the dungeon pool set up, Return of Tazavesh, which was great. Raid boss is set, and the new dungeon is going to be the Eco Dome. Halls is coming back. I liked Halls. Halls was a great dungeon. Gambit was fantastic. That's a huge dungeon. Really big fan. I actually like Streets of Wonder too. That was a good dungeon. I hate Arakara. I know some people like it. I hate it. I thought of it. I did not like the dungeon. I actually prefer Priory over Arakara. Oops. I didn't want to do that. Dawnbreaker I like, and Floodgate's not bad. So dungeons coming back are all pretty good. But yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed this route. I'll live through Arakara, but I despise doing Arakara. It was one of my least favorite. The new delves are out. The new belt is out so far, so the belt's going to be out for a bit. The class sets for season 3. You can give feedback if you click on the link. So if you want to give feedback on the classes or the class sets, that is available. There's a lot of changes going on to different classes. I'm not going to go through them all because it is massive, and these really are just kind of entry level changes. It's actually further in, but I'm going to say some of the big ones. AMZ is going to be for 6 seconds and reduce magic taken by party or raid by 15% on a 4-minute cooldown. Crazy. Unfortunately for DKs, A-bomb limb is gone. You will not be having an A-bomb limb, which I think is just absolutely terrible. Some of the reasons why you would bring a DK for some stuff is A-bomb limb specifically, and without a raid buff, you kind of get shit on. There's no real reason to bring a DK. Basically, they use blood DKs as tanks because blood DKs just live forever. Very self-sufficient. But that is going to be one. Again, they're making a ton of changes to Frost. As you can see, like I said, I'm not going to go through them all. But there is a boatload of changes going on to Frost for new talents. Still Frost. and all these talents have been removed with naming a bunch of new ones. So I will go through it closer to the actual release because this is so early that I'm sure all of this is going to change. Unholy's getting a bunch of changes. There was one for A Bomb. Limb has that's interesting. So they removed A Bomb Limb, but it's been renamed to Legion of Souls and redesigned. Summon a Legion of Clawing Souls to assist you, dealing shadow damage, applying wounds to 12 seconds all nearby enemies. I don't know if it's going to grip you towards them though. That could be a problem because you use it for just getting everything in one nice spot. So if they don't have that, very interesting. Druid's getting some changes. And you can go through it. I'll go through it much later when it gets closer to what's going on. Closer to season 3. Evoker has some changes. Flame Shaper changing. Augment again. Breath of Eon's Tooltip has been rewritten for clarity and whatever. Preservation has a few changes. Oh. Reduce rewind cooldown by 90 seconds. Was 60 seconds. Huh, interesting. Oh, Emerald Blossom Healing. That's some nice stuff. Some decent stuff for Pres Evoker. They're not played nearly enough. They are one of the harder ones to play, and it just doesn't seem worth it. They just don't like they're okay. If you like Pres Evoker, by all means play it, but it's not one played very often. Hunter has some bunch of changes coming as well. Beastmaster has some changes. Marksman, bunch of changes. All coming season 3, so it's not really going to impact anything. This is an interesting one. This actually might be a talent finally taken by mages. Temporal Anomaly has been removed, but Inspired Intellect now grants 6 increased intellect was 3. So it was a talent to gain 3% extra intellect. But now it's going to be 6% extra. So you have 9% intellect as a mage, which is good. A couple other changes to Arcane, just one more damage increases. See how that goes because Arcane is pumping right now. Monks, they're doing some Brewmaster changes, which is nice because, Brewmaster is predominantly the least played tank of them all. Mistweaver, anything exciting here? Revival healing increased by 100%. Oh, they're just changing it. Yeah. So they want to buff the 5-player content, a small buff to 619, and then no change at 20. Or small, and then a small nerf after 20. So if you're doing content, big raids, you're gonna need a mild nerf. Rhett's got some changes coming. But this priest has some changes coming. Looks like they're increasing the mana cost of a bunch of things. So you're going to be a little more mana starved like other classes, which we'll see how that plays out. Usually they go way too far in the wrong direction and it really hurts the class. Holy's getting some mana reductions, so that should be more mana efficient. Shadow Priest is having another rework, which I don't even know how many it is. It seems to get reworked all the time. It's not in a great spot right now. It does okay damage in high keys, but the rest of it, by the time you get your damage out, everything's dead. So very interesting. Rogue, some small changes. Shaman, nothing really. Healing Tide Totem, healing increased by 100%, but its healing now reduces rapidly beyond 5 targets. Okay. Warlock is nothing crazy, some demo stuff. Inferno has been removed. Okay. Inferno's extreme firefall has too much control of rate of fire tuning as well. Huh. Well, I guess they removed that to make it easier to tune. Okay, and they made a single target node instead. Warrior. Interesting. And it's all prot, it looks like. Yeah, it's all prot warrior. So what's their explanation behind a massive prot warrior change? Many of the prot tanks talents in each gate provide either key capabilities or powerful bonuses to make the talents locked in. As a result, prot warrior builds don't change much. That's like every tank build essentially. Yes, we tried to ensure that Some points left are taking, must take. Talents gated. Yeah, blah, blah, blah. We talents lost in a way. We freed up some flexibility. Okay, so you have some flexibility, which is hilarious because if you look at other tanks, I'm going to specifically reference Brewmaster. Brewmaster talents are so shit that you don't even take capstones. That's how bad they are. So if you went to the top Brewmaster monks, and let's just go to Raider IO. And we'll pull whoever the top one is. Who's the top one? Mythic Plus. I don't know why this is so terribly slow right now. Brewmaster Monk. The top one is Monksy. They've been up there for a while. And if you look at their talent build, actually Monksy like heals sometime too, so I gotta make sure they're not on their healer one. That's it. 0 capstone talents are taken. That's how good the Monk tree is. I find that to be hilarious and such a bad design when you don't even want to take the ones in the bottom because it's not worth it. So hopefully they'll fix that. I know there's a new monk tree coming out, but I'm just using that as a reference to them wanting to fix the prot warrior tree because you're locked in. So, you know, there's other ones you could be beating on than the prot warriors. So anyway, that's all coming up in season 3. If you made it this far, hit the like, hit the subscribe, check out the other videos. Thanks for watching, and this is Deflect Firm but Fair Gaming.